Lucio and I have been thinking of throwing a little welcome party for you new recruits. You in?
Do we really have time to be relaxing with everything going on?
Sure we do. If we don't keep morale up, we won't be in any shape to fight.
Hey guys, my name is Shroomy. I have a lot of different names and I just really like lore. So I was kind of expecting something today with mid-season, but also not fully expecting anything, so this was kind of a surprise, especially to be getting a comic. We finally got Honoron's piece of the new heroes batches, which, if you don't know, every new hero's been getting some type of story thing, so we kind of assumed Honoron was going to be getting one, and here it is, From the Ashes. And like I said a couple times, I kind of guessed that it was going to be moving the plot forward a bit more, and it exactly is. So, what exactly is in this comic, and what are the big lore things coming out of it? This video is going to be a little bit less edited than usual. This is a kind of more off the cuff. I wanted to make this kind of quick to talk about my thoughts on this, but also kind of point out some really interesting lore things that may or may not be important to the future, and also just speculate on where the story could go. Also, I finally got over my cold. That's why we haven't been around very much recently, but we should be back on schedule this week. Anyways, with all that out of the way, here's a little quick summary of the actual story, and then we'll be going over my ideas on it and my just general thoughts. The story begins with Brigida piloting, and Anran and Wooyoung getting ready to arrive at Watchpoint Gibraltar. Wooyoung is overly excited, but Anran is more reserved, fully expecting things to get much harder for both of them in the future. After everything went null sector, this all seems like the beginning, and everything going forward seems like it's going to be a lot harder. As they arrive, they are all shocked to see the base is under attack by Talon, and Anran springs into action immediately. The three try to defend as best they can, but as they help rescue Genji and Echo, realize the fight is lost, and a full retreat is ordered. As everyone begins to evacuate, Anran stays behind, trying to protect her brother and friends. Anran begins to remember back to her youth, where her parents always wanted her to protect Wooyoung, but also be the best she could as her older sibling. But also be the best as the older sibling. Just then, she's cornered, and when all hope is seemingly lost, Reinhardt, Zarya, and Sojourn swing into action, ready to assist. They get Anran to the evac ship, and all of Overwatch escapes Gibraltar, leaving the base behind, and Talon wins the first battle in this war, striking a huge blow to Overwatch. So this one is more of just talking about Anran's character, and obviously I highly recommend reading the comic itself. I think that's a better way to kind of look at this than anything I could really talk about here. So yeah, but let's get into my thoughts on this now, and everything that goes with that. So, yeah, a lot to break down with this one. I was really hoping we would get a little bit more on Watchpoint Gibraltar and the attack itself, but I was kind of worried that we were going to be stuck in limbo again, like we were with other story beats where we're kind of stuck on one moment for a long time. Luckily, it looks like we're already moving past the attack. I could see maybe we get one more thing from Talon's perspective on all this, but even then, that's kind of out of nowhere. So yeah, it looks like we're finally going to be moving on past this already. I say finally, but it's only been a couple weeks, which is crazy to think about. But anyways, yeah, the attack is seemingly over and Talon has won. I was kind of surprised to see that they're abandoning Watchpoint Gibraltar already, because this is kind of such an iconic place, but they're probably going to be coming back to this eventually. I can't assume that they'll be gone forever. But this does bring up the question, where are they going to go? This is something we don't have really any concrete things on, but I do have an idea that I've been kind of already thinking about before this, but especially now, I think I'll bring it up. Next season, they're going to be reworking Antarctic Peninsula. We got some little images of it with the May Mythic. I'll go ahead and put it on screen now, but the May Mythic kind of teased and showed off a little bit of the updates, so it makes sense that Overwatch's new base will probably be in a place that's reflecting the main narrative, like they said before. So probably Antarctic Peninsula is going to be where they're setting up. This makes a lot of sense too, because everything there just already has like Overwatch base aesthetics and also just was an Overwatch outpost to an extent. They sent a rescue team to look for May's group there. That's like the big ship on the map. That was that. So yeah. Also, it's really out of the way and not a lot of people know it even exists. So that's probably where they're going to be heading if I had to guess. Or, alternatively, the IJC, the International Justice Commission, may have to step in and actually save Overwatch, which I don't really think is really gonna happen, but it's also something that could happen, so that's why I bring it up. With all of this as well, we get a really big group shot of pretty much everyone, and I thought I'd mention too, we're missing a couple agents in this picture. Bastion, Mercy, Jetpack Cat. Jetpack Cat I kind of put to the side for now because this comic was probably made before that character was really going, but with Bastion and Mercy, there's two really alternative ways to this, and this could just be kind of rambly, so yeah. One, this could just be a thing with framing. There couldn't have been a lot of room in this picture, so maybe these characters were not here. But two, this could be maybe setting up how Bastion and Mercy were left behind. But I don't really think that's the case just because no one's really reacting that way, so they're probably just out of frame. Another big thing with this group photo, though, is Ana. So Ana Amari is in Overwatch. This was something that was in the Christmas comic last year where she showed up to the base with all the other extended family, but we weren't sure if that comic is even really like canon or where it fits into the timeline exactly, so I wasn't really sure if this was fully going on, but it looks like Ana's in Overwatch, or at least working alongside them. Ana's character, the last time we heard from her, was in Lost Ghosts before all this, which was her short story, and her and Jack Morrison, or Soldier, kind of split up and went their own separate ways. Ana was going to continue to hunt down Talon and try to save the other Overwatch agents, while Soldier was basically going off on his own, trying to find the conspiracy. So I thought Ana's character was going to be over in her own little bubble for a bit, in her own little limbo, but it seems like they've just incorporated her into the main Talon story, which is kind of interesting. I'm wondering if this is more just to bring Ana involved and get her kind of talking to other characters more, which I'm completely fine with, but I would hope that we get one more piece or one backstory lore drop, just kind of explaining how she got to where she is. I think that would be really helpful. Yeah, so the world is changing once again. Talon has kind of just taken over. This was a thing that I wasn't sure if they were going to fully go with, but I am kind of interested to see. This really is the reign of Talon year, it looks like, and it looks like Talon is going to be just kind of ruling over everything, or at least winning a lot this year. Next season, we're going to be getting, I believe, the Helix character or some type of character like Frankie. So if we're going to be tying heroes to main plot lines, Helix is probably going to lose and Talon is probably going to win again. And they're probably going to get whatever Moira wants from the Grand Mesa. If you don't know, the Grand Mesa is another thing that we know is going to be happening next season, just through a couple context clues and little hints and pieces about things, such as like the roadmap. If you look at the roadmap, the Season 2 icon has the Deadlock Rebels, the Deadlock Gorge kind of aesthetic, like Powder Keg Mine, etc., Route 66. And also the Helix hero next season, which I'm assuming it is a Helix hero now, or it is Frankie. One of the two is seemingly going to be the hero next season, and Helix is stationed at the Grand Mesa. There was a data pad about this as well that's on Powder Keg Mine talking about a new person getting promoted, so this just kind of screams hero trailer, or hero to me in general. It looks like next season Talon is going to be enacting another mission to kind of steal some tech or get another win, so what's going to be happening next season for Overwatch? Because they're kind of the main group and we kind of need to know what's going on. Well, they're definitely going to be setting up somewhere, probably next season if I had to guess, and like I said before, probably Antarctic Peninsula. This makes the most sense to me just from everything I talked about earlier, but also next season we're getting Ramatra in Stadium. So this is kind of a big deal because they said with Vendetta, they wanted to add Vendetta to Stadium because it was her time and also just the story reasons. So if Overwatch is going to Antarctica, it makes a lot of sense that Ramatra would be getting added to Stadium, and we're probably going to be seeing some type of Ramatra story next season. If you don't know, Ramatra is currently in a place that's extremely cold, and it has ice caps. You can see it in the Reconciliation comic, so it looks like he's in Antarctica. So with all that in mind, it just does make sense that there's going to be some type of conflict between the two factions, and this is probably how Ramatra is going to have to be getting more involved in the future. I really hope this is the case, but I'm not really sure what they're going to be doing to really keep him in his little bubble, but also interacting with Overwatch. So I'd love to hear what you guys have to say on that. All in all, though, this comic is pretty crazy for the status quo and shifts a lot. Like I said, I wanted to make this video pretty quick just to kind of tell everybody what's going on and give everyone kind of like a bigger heads up on the narrative and how things have shifted, but also talking about the weird little lore things like Ana. Ana's another thing I do want to like get your guys' ideas on. I'm not exactly sold on what's going on with her, so I would love to hear what you guys have to say about Ana, especially. All in all, this was just a quick one. I wanted to make this, get my thoughts out on the new comic and everything going on in between. What did you guys think of this one? I personally really liked it, obviously, and it's really exciting to see. So yeah, that's all from me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoy mid-season. I'm going to be trying to look for voice lines here and there, but obviously going to be focusing on this first, so I'll see if I can get in. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye!